Good day and welcome to the Store, Save, Share and Secure conference call, hosted by Colin McArdle. My name is Amanda and I'm your event manager. During the presentation, your lines will remain on listen only. If you require assistance at any time, please key *0 on your telephone and a coordinator will be happy to assist you. You may submit a question on WebEx by typing your question in the question and answer section on the screen and clicking Send to all panelists. These will be addressed in the Q&A session later during the call. I'd like to advise all parties this conference is being recorded, and I would like to hand over to Colin. Please go ahead.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Colin McArdle. We're here to talk to you today. The topic being Store, Save, Share and Secure, and how easy and more efficient it is, particularly with regard to ahead of the document production phase in an arbitration hearing, and making sure that you have a single matter or project file across your document management system. We've got a number of slides to go through, and then I'll be handing over to my colleague Mike Kay, who will take you through a demonstration. So just moving on. So we will be showing you one of our partner products called NetDocuments, and it's got three main tenets, which are safe, proven, and ready. In terms of safe, you have military-grade encryption on every single document within the document management system. Proven because it's a pure cloud platform, and 100% focus of its research and development is going into that single product. NetDocuments has only ever been in the cloud and has been there for 20 years, which is quite an achievement when you consider that cloud computing wasn't a thing 20 years ago. And ready, it's a battle-hardened and trusted cloud platform, giving you access to all of your documents regardless of where you are in the world on any device, and to allow you to collaborate quickly and efficiently with internal colleagues or indeed with external parties as well. The benefit of this is that all of your documents never leave the platform, so you're controlling where your documents reside at all times. So when we talk about safe, one of the great things about NetDocuments is because it is a true cloud SaaS platform, and every single organization across the world that are a NetDocuments client use the same platform, whether you're a 2-user law firm or whether you're a 15,000 plus organization. Now, one of the benefits and one of the key tenets of NetDocuments is the theme of inheritance. And on this screen here, as a NetDocuments client, you automatically inherit all of these certifications listed here. The benefit of this is when you're speaking to, either internally to your colleagues or to, senior members of your board, but obviously as well to your customers or external parties, you can confidently say that with regard to document and email management, your documents are safe within NetDocuments. All these accreditations, as I said, are inherited. You have unique encryption on the document. There's a full third-party GDPR attestation, and it's a ISO that's the Information Security Management Systems ISO 1 platform audit. In terms of proven, NetDocuments have got over 2,750 clients worldwide. As I mentioned before, 100% of its research and development goes back into the platform, and it can boast an unrivaled 98% customer retention. Now, why is this different from other traditional on-premise document management systems and their journey to try and get to the cloud? There's an obvious move towards cloud computing across the globe because of the benefits that brings in terms of enhanced security and indeed ongoing costs for you as an organization. Because you're sitting on a SaaS platform, that's software as a service, in a multi-tenanted environment, you get iterative releases every couple of weeks that you won't even recognise, whereas with the traditional on-premise or hosted models, all of that additional functionality from the point in which you receive that platform, that would require individual upgrades at a point in time in which you decide. One good analogy that is used is with NetDocuments. They've got one puppy to love, to look after, to care and feed and clean up after, whereas other traditional models or other traditional on-premise document management systems have got multiple instances across their client base that they have to maintain. So where do the customers come from NetDocuments? And I think this is, really interesting. This slide is showing that 65% of its acquisitions come from the traditional on-premise document management systems, because nearly every organisation in the world, whether you're a corporate organisation, whether you're a law firm, whether you're an accountancy firm, you will have a cloud strategy. So 65% of those come from, the traditional on-premise document management systems. Further 4% comes from various platforms like SharePoint, Dropbox, etc. But probably most interesting to yourselves are 31% of that customer acquisition come from organizations that have no recognized document management or email management system and have had to rely on network file shares to manage your documents. This is really just a snapshot, a slide of some of the clients, across the world that are using NetDocuments. Obviously, we can't list all 2,750 plus of them, but this gives a really good flavour. So this just isn't for law firms or for, in-house counsel or general counsel. This is corporate organisations across the world, law firms, and other government bodies as well. It's basically any organisation that is document intensive or document heavy. In terms of readiness, why does NetDocuments be able to boast not only 98% customer retention, but 98% on average end user adoption of the document management platform? And we think that the simple reason for that is because depending on the way that you work today and what you want to achieve, there are usually 2, 3, 4 different ways to achieve that same outcome in NetDocuments. Especially, for general counsels, the issue of emailing and having a central one version of the truth is very problematic if those emails and the documents attached to those emails aren't being stored centrally, that everybody who should have access to that single electronic file, if they don't have that access, it's very, very difficult for them to see who has done what. We will cover a couple of these points throughout the demonstration, which is going to be started by Mike right now.
Thank you very much, Colin. And you've had a great introduction there as to what the overarching benefits are of a true cloud document management system such as NetDocuments. But that impressive stat of 98% retention rate and user adoption is only there because of the end user experience that it offers and the way that it allows them to work in the way that they want to work so that they can carry out the day as normal. Now, I'm going to focus on that in terms of the demonstration. So what you're about to see is very much user-orientated and how those fee earners, those attorneys, those paralegals, and any other professional services type individual and role works with this system on a daily basis. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is the main NetDocuments interface. Now, it is a true cloud solution, as you've heard a number of times. That means you can access it from multiple ways, but the main interface is easily accessible through any web browser. So you can access this on any device where there is a web browser. Now, what you're seeing now is an example of one of those project or matter files that we've been discussing, where you would accumulate documents and content in regards to the work that you're doing. So I always think it's a great place to start so you get a visual representation of where these documents and where these emails are going as we go through the demonstration. Now, this is an example of one of those project or matter files, and as you can see, it's got a fairly obvious structure, and you can see we've got a number of headings here related to the content types or the work types that are stored in this area, as well as the recent documents that fall within each of those, so you can easily access them with a single click. Now, this also offers a number of views for you to utilize to make it more appropriate for yourselves on an individual level. Now, I've got this in what we call the expanded view, so I can see all of the headings plus the most recent content under each of them. But if I wanted to, I could simply collapse them all and then just drill into a specific area. And whilst doing that, I'm not seeing everything else in relation to this particular piece of work on the screen at the same time. I can focus on the area I need to be. But as I said, it's entirely personal preference. There is one more additional view, which is also widely used, which is what we call the traditional list view. So this is just listing all of the items within this area, this file, where you can see in a simple list, which you can then go and very easily sort and organize using these column headings to find what you're looking for just as easily. Now, I'm just going to switch that back to the summary view. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to focus on how, as an end user, I can easily file my emails, file those attachments and documents that we work with on a daily basis into this working area. So we're going to start with emails. Now, it's quite a frightening statistic that we heard recently that the average matter or project file handled by any professional services organisation contains on average between 60 and 70% emails, meaning it's almost a 2-to-1 ratio of emails over documents in those particular working areas. So if that's the case, we need to have a very simple and effective way for users to be able to file all of those emails into the correct matter or project file. Now, there's a couple of ways you can file emails, and I'm going to show you them all. But for me personally, by far the simplest and easiest is through what we call one-click predictive filing. So if we take this email I've got selected here, it's a pretty standard email. It's got a couple of attachments. But what you can see just above it here is the end email preview screen, predictive screen. What this is doing is it's analyzed the makeup or the properties of the email, and that's everything including the sender, who the recipients were, what the subject is, if there are attachments, what are the attachment names, as well as the body of the message as well. And it understands and analyzes all of that information and uses intelligence to make accurate predictions as to where this email should be filed. So I've got a number of options available to me here, and these are all ranked out of 100, and you can see from the scale which ones it believes are the most likely destinations. Now, one of them, the second one here, is that matter file that we looked at just a few moments ago, and that's where I want to file it. So to file it, it really is, as the name suggests, one click. I click on the destination, I can then move on to my next email and then start to work with that, respond, reply, or even file it as well. But you'll notice now that that email has been filed, I can tell that very easily through the little check mark here under the ND column. So now it's just as easy to understand which of your emails have been filed as well as the ones that haven't. But not only do you see this particular indicator, this is what we call a global filing indicator. So if that email was sent to multiple people within my team or within my organization, if I was the first person to file it, they all will still see that check mark next to it in their inbox, indicating that the email has already been filed by somebody, and therefore reducing the requirement for them to go and file it again, and then also reducing and negating the need for a duplicate or lots of duplicates of the same content in those project files. And that's it. I could have selected multiple destinations if it should have been filed in multiple locations. Likewise, I could have selected multiple emails and then selected just the same destination for them all. So again, it really is that simple and fits in with the way that you want to work. And for whatever reason, the last thing to call out here is if, for whatever reason, the destination you're looking for isn't here, maybe it's a brand new matter or project that you've only literally just started working on, you've always got the ability to go and find that using the browse option, and you can navigate or go to that specific working area using that browse function. So that's the first way you can file those emails that you've received. But there is also another very common way of filing emails that have come into you. Excuse me. And that's using Outlook folders. Now, what we do understand from all of those clients is that before a system like this, the way that users wanted to organize their own inbox and mailboxes was to create a series of Outlook folders which they then drag and drop their emails to. Well, we're not saying that you need to change the way that you work in that sense, because you can continue doing just that, because with NetDocuments, you have the ability to link these folders to the correct file or project in the NetDocuments platform. So that means that any existing emails that are in those folders will automatically be filed, as well as any new emails that you drag and drop into these folders after you've mapped them. That too will also file those emails automatically. So you do not have to change anything in terms of the way that you work, but now you have a very simple way of filing your emails in the secure NetDocuments repository, and it also means that any of your colleagues working with you on this particular project will also be able to see those emails that are related to it. So we've talked quite a lot there about emails you've received, but we haven't focused on the attachments. So this email, as you saw, has a number of attachments. And what if I need to file those independently of the email? Perhaps it will still go to the same project or matter file, but they have a separate area for these documents. Well, NetDocuments has thought of that as well. So if I do want to do that, I can simply hit this Save button, and this will present me with a screen that allows me to choose which elements of this email I wish to file. So I can just simply select the attachments. I could rename those attachments before they're filed in, make it something more appropriate for this particular piece of work. And again, you've got that intelligence of the system making suggestions and predictions as to where it believes these should be filed. Now, if I don't want the attachments to go to any of those predictions, I've got the ability to go and look at all of the recent files and matters I've been working on, and I've got the ability to go to a specific matter or project in exactly the same way. But I'm happy, actually, with some of these predictions. So I'm just going to go to one I've been working on in this demo, and I'm going to choose the Documents section for these attachments. Once you've made your selection here, it will then show you all of the metadata or classification information that these documents are going to inherit simply by filing them into this area. It's, in my example here, you can see which client, which project or matter it relates to. You can see the document type or content type, and you can see the author. But you have the opportunity to add additional metadata fields here, should you wish to, in order to classify your content even more so, which in turn will make things easier to find and report on within the system at a later stage. But I'm happy with that selection now, so I'm simply going to hit Save and Close. And what we've done there is been able to file all of those attachments separately into the correct working area or file whilst staying within the comfort of Outlook and where I spend the majority of my day. So that's what we've got to talk about, those emails that you've had come in. But just as much as you receive emails, you will be sending emails in the same way. And NetDocuments gives you the same filing capabilities for emails that you create. So if you was to go and compose a brand new email, so I will just compose one to my colleague, Peter Walker, one of my clients, gmail.com, and I'll just say something like, please review, and I'll say, hi Peter, see attached, Mike. Now I've referenced some attachments here. So if my documents and all of my content is now stored in the secure platform of NetDocuments, I need an easy way to attach them. Well, NetDocuments gives you just that. There is a very obvious button here which allows you to go and attach your documents. But even here, there is some intelligence because it knows what the task is that you're trying to achieve. And what I mean by that is that it, by default, will take you to your recent documents. So all of the content and documents you've been recently working on, it will show you those in a nice consistent list. And if it's something you've literally just finished working on, it will be somewhere towards the top, which you can then just as easily select, and you can select as many as you wish to attach to this email. But maybe you do want to attach copies of it because that's the requirement you have, but there are also other options here. So I can absolutely send them as attachments, as you'd expect. But what if I was sending this to it was a colleague of mine who's working with me on this particular piece of work? It's far more efficient to send them a link to those documents rather than physical copies. The email size is much, much smaller, helping and reducing the amount of email storage that your firm is using. Not only that, by sending links, it just means that your colleagues will always be going to the exact documents that you intended them to access. And for the demonstration of that, I'm going to select both so you can see what the email would look like in both cases. Now, those are the links to those individual documents, and it gives me a couple of options to act on each of them. Just open them. I could go and view that document in its entirety, still within the NetDocuments platform, or I could go to the file or matter that it is currently sitting in. And I've got the attachments here. But what if, like me, you've been composing your email, you've attached multiple documents, and you've probably referred to them in your email, but they don't appear on that order as attachments? Well, NetDocuments goes above and beyond here because it gives you some additional usability features to make this whole process that much easier and more efficient for you. So I could, for example, rearrange these attachments and make the PDF the first one on the email. As well as rearranging them, I could rename them, making sure that the copy that goes out has a more appropriate name for the intended recipient. And even after renaming, if there are documents that are not PDFs that you wish to convert to PDF, you have the option using the same functionality to convert those to PDF before the email goes out. So you have a range of usability features there that you may or may not have today, but I bet you're using additional tools to achieve it. This is all part of the same solution. So once you've made your selections, you click OK, you can now see that the PDF has been renamed and it's been brought to the first attachment on this email. So now we want to file it. Now, over here, I do have the ability to show the same predictive email filing panel that you saw earlier when we was filing those other emails. So I can have this on screen or collapsed. It's my preference. You can have it and it remembers your last choice. But you can see it's got those same predictions and it's just as easy for me to file it by selecting the correct one here. But let's say, as a firm, you've adopted a system like this, and what you're trying to do is enforce users to file all of their emails into it. Well, NetDocuments can align itself with that requirement. So I haven't actually selected the correct destination for it here. So if I was to try and hit send now, it actually doesn't send the email. It actually flashes red at me to tell me that you haven't told me where to file it, so you need to do that before you send it. So if I want to do that, I then select the correct destination. Now when I hit send, the email will go. That is completely configurable. You can still allow users to send it without filing if that's the choice the firm makes, but NetDocuments caters for both scenarios. So now we've sent an email and we've filed it, as well as those emails we've received, we've filed those as well. The last thing I'm going to show you within Outlook is not only do you have the ability to file emails you've received and are sending, but if you spend the majority of your day in Outlook, you can even navigate the entire NetDocuments platform directly from Outlook itself. Now, using this panel up here, as you can see, all of the NetDocuments panels within Outlook are expandable and collapsible, just like this one is as well up here. So you can collapse and expand them to your preference, but by using this one in the bottom left, you can navigate your recent work, your recent files to find the one you're looking for, and it allows you to drill into it to actually find the content. So I'm now in the documents section of this particular file, and if I want to perhaps check if this is the document I need to share with somebody, I can select the document, but I actually get a full preview of it before I do anything with it. This allows me to confirm this is the one I'm looking for. Not only that, if it's a text document like this one, I can actually use the preview to simply copy and paste the text elsewhere. If I need to put it into a new email or another document, I can do that without actually opening it. As well as that, I could double-click on this to open those attachments or those documents and then start working with them. And I've even got searching as well here, which we're going to come on to very, very shortly. So we've focused quite a lot there on email, but now I want to talk to you about documents themselves when you're creating them. So I'm going to now show you how easy it is to save a document that you've just created straight into the NetDocuments platform. So what you can see on screen here, hopefully, there we go, is a brand new document that I've just created, but I haven't yet saved anywhere. It's still got the original word or name of document 1. Now, if I want to save this into NetDocuments, it's as easy as simply clicking the Save button. Now, this could be on your Quick Access toolbar. You might have the Save button on one of your ribbons, or even if you go File, Save As. It doesn't matter. However you save today, you can continue working in that way. Again, it makes suggestions and it uses intelligence straight away, so it shows you recent locations that you've been working. So if you're happy with that, it's just a case of giving it the appropriate name, and you can see all of that metadata it inherits. So all I need to do is hit Save. Now, being a true document management system, it fully supports version control, allowing you to monitor and track exactly how a document evolves, as well as being able to revert back to it at any given stage that you need to. Now, I've just saved this document, and what you'll notice now up on the title bar here is that it's been given a unique 12-digit ID. So this is unique to this particular document, and it makes it much easier to find if you know that ID when you're using the search feature. But you also have which version of that document. So this was the first version, and that's the one I'm looking at. But as I said, it is fully supported of version control. So as you or your colleagues make changes and want to save them, you follow the exact same process, but this time it recognizes the document already exists and defaults to save as a new version. Meaning, if I want to save this as version 2, I simply hit Save, and this will now be saved as version 2. So very simple, very easy, and I don't have to change the way that I work. Now what I'm going to do, just to show you that, I'm going to jump back to the project file we were working from at the very beginning. I'll give this a quick refresh, and what you should see now are all of those documents and emails that we've been working on throughout the demo are now in the correct part of this file. I've got the letter we just created, I've got the email attachments here, and I've got those 2 emails that we filed already in the same area. So very simple, very easy for me to find and confirm that what I've saved and updated is there, but it shows that it's gone to the correct working area or project where you intended it to. Now, another great thing, I talked about versioning, but another great thing is you do have the ability to look at the history of a document. So if I was to just right-click on a document, I have the option to look at the history, and this will show you every single activity carried out on a document. Whether that's your activity or any of your colleagues, you can see all of it. You can focus on a specific individual's activity, or you can look at all activity. But whatever activity has been carried out, and that's everything from simply previewing, downloading, editing, versioning, sharing, printing, everything is captured here. So you know exactly who has done what and when on your documents. And you can even print or download this history report if you need to share that with anybody yourself. Another great part of the system is the user's homepage. Now, every individual has their own homepage, and it's accessible with a single click by clicking the NetDocuments logo. This is your opportunity to identify anything from individual documents, emails, or even entire projects or files that you regularly use and mark them as a favorite. Meaning that if you've marked them as a favorite and they appear on here, they are never more than a single click away, because you can click here by clicking that logo and you'll always come straight to your home page. You have the ability to organize your home page to your preference as well. So if I want to actually move the headings and contents around, I can do just that. I can create new headings and then click OK and put that where exactly I want it. Once you save your changes, your home page will update. This has no impact on anybody else's experience or document or home page. This is unique to you. And as you'd expect, it supports full drag and drop for you to reorganize your content, making it very simple and very quick for you to reuse whenever you need it. The last thing to call out here is that, again, wherever you are in the system, in this interface, you have this blue bar here. This is the recents bar. So even if you're not on your home page, or you are on your home page and you want to go back to something and add it as a recent, you can find your most recent documents in this list, or even the most recent matters or projects that you're working on. You simply click on that and it will take you to those items, allowing you to either go into it or mark it as a favorite just by clicking the little star there, and that will now appear on your home page, as you can see. So that's the home page. The last couple of things to very quickly talk about, but absolutely important in any content or document management system, is search. I need to easily be able to search for content that's stored within it. And NetDocuments makes that extremely easy. You have this search bar at the top center here. It's with you all of the way in every screen. And all you need to do is just type in the criteria for your searching. So I'm going to keep this very broad. I'm just going to type the word agreement. And I can tell it to actually just look at the names of documents or even just the subject of emails, or I can tell it to look at everything. Now, everything will look at not just the names or subject, but it will look at the content itself inside those documents and emails. So where there's a match, it will return those results in this list here. You can see how quick that was, and that has found over 200 items very quickly, very easily returned.
So obviously this is, a key part. One of the things that we discussed at the German Arbitration Summit a couple of weeks ago was, that document production, the ability to put in a keyword and have a return against all of the documents in your document management system that may be important to that stage, or that's almost the pre-stage of document production. It just allows you to find all of that information quickly, efficiently, and easily.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, in this example, as you can see, we've got quite a lot of items returned, and I don't want to go through these one by one to find the one I'm looking for. So that's why you have these search filters available to you. So maybe you've run this search, but actually you do know a little bit more information about it. Maybe you know the client that the document you're looking for is related to, so I can go and select the client. Now, simply by selecting this one, I'm reducing those 200 plus items straight away down to 72. As well as doing that, I could add multiple filters. So maybe I know actually the matter as well, or project. So if I select the correct project, you can see it's reducing it even further. So very quickly, very easy, you can get to a far more manageable number of items, which you can then utilize some of the other great functionality to find exactly what you're looking for. So for example, if I wanted to see if this is the document I'm looking for, I simply just check the box and I can use the preview function to very quickly, very easily see if this is the document I'm looking for. Not only that, the preview highlights the search criteria you originally used, making it easy for you to navigate through to find the part of that document you're looking for. The last thing about searching is you have another way of searching using the advanced search capability. Now, you can access that from the same search bar, but just clicking the little advanced search button. And this can be used when you have lots of information about what you're looking for. You may know the client and or the matter or project. You may even know the document type, or who it was, if it was an email, who it was emailed to and from. Maybe you know the author or a date range. Lots of information and lots of areas and fields for you to utilize in this great search capability. Not only that, when you click in these fields, NetDocuments educates you as you go along as to what type of information you can enter in here. So searching becomes very simple, very easy, but also very powerful using NetDocuments. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is sharing. That was one of the key elements to this particular webinar series. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to share and the two main use cases we have with sharing content. Now, let's go back to the project file we started out with. And let's say there's a document in here that I need to share externally with a partner or a client or customer or just an external party. Now, this particular document may be too large to send over an email attachment, or maybe it's just too confidential or too sensitive to trust over a standard email attachment. So what we can do is you can use the secure link function, delivery secure link function, to very easily share this link, this document with anybody you need to, but you have the opportunity to add additional security parameters to it. You can add a password, meaning that they need a password and the link to be able to access the document. You can set an expiration date. Maybe it's only available for a few days or weeks, so that you can control how long those individuals have access. You can even determine whether they can download that document. If you disable that feature, they simply get a read-only view of it. They cannot download it, they cannot edit it, and they cannot share it. Again, giving you full control over what you are sharing. You also have the ability to be notified when the document has been accessed by those recipients. When they've clicked on the link, you will get an email to tell you that it's been accessed. Again, you've now got proof that it's been accessed and by whom. And you can compose this email message from this window here. But if you want to, you can use this great little link here to actually do all of that in Outlook itself, where you usually compose and create your emails. So simply by selecting that, you get the new Outlook window open. It's got the link to that document. It tells you when it expires, and you can then just go and compose your email in exactly the same way that you do and file it, just as important, because this is related to that particular project or matter that you're working on. So that's the first sort of use case around sharing. But there is also another one, and that's about collaboration. That's about working together with colleagues and external parties, maybe even at the same time. So NetDocuments gives you the ability to do that using their feature called Collab Spaces. Collab Spaces is exactly that. It's a dedicated and secure collaboration space. Think of it like a portal where you can define and control which content is in there and which access the users have, both internal and external. If we take this one, for example, you can see you have the ability to add the content. You can have your own structure and folder structure to organize this working area and collaboration space. And then as you set, this one has already been set up, but as you create and set these up, you have the ability to control exactly who has access and what level of access. That looks like this within the system. So on the right-hand side, you would drag and drop or add the individuals or groups of users that you wish to give access to, but then you can control exactly what permissions they have. Should they have just view only? That's V. Perhaps they should be able to view and share content, but not make changes or edit it. Maybe they should be able to edit it so they can view and edit it. And maybe they should have even more elevated privileges to view, edit, and share. And maybe not your external parties potentially, but you and your colleagues who are controlling this part of the system and this collaboration space, you would potentially have view, edit, share, and be an administrator of this particular collaboration space as well, meaning you can control not only all of this part of it, but you have the ability to go and just as easily revoke access as you do to give it.
So the benefits here are, using the collab space, the documents, the emails that you are sharing with either internally or externally, they never leave the NetDocuments platform. So you're containing and you're controlling where those documents are located. You're containing and controlling what actions other external parties can have in this collaboration space. And then obviously you're removing the need to use other third-party applications. I don't know, like Citrix, ShareFile, or Dropbox. You don't actually have to go to potentially your own IT team to do that. You can do that here as an individual user quite easily, quite quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And literally the very last thing for me to just show you on this demonstration before we go to the Q&A session is the fact that regardless of what window, what application you are in, you can still access your most recent content using the NetDocuments Activity Center. So once NetDocuments is set up and installed, you have the ability to just use the NetDocuments icon here to click on it, and it will show you all of the content that you have most recently had some activity on. So this is particularly useful if at the end of the day you've been working on a document, you then save your changes and then close your laptop or shut down your machine and go home. The next day you come in the morning and you want to go straight back into that document. You can do that with 2 clicks. 1 click to show the list, 1 more click to go to the top of that list and select the document you're looking for, and that will open it in the appropriate application for you to continue working. You don't have to wait for any other part of your machine or system to load and open in order to get straight back into your documents and emails.
So there are a lot more, obviously, a lot more functions and a lot more functionality and security that we could talk about. But given the follow-up, from the arbitration summit a couple of weeks ago, these were some of the key parts that we covered during the third panel session that I sat on. So I think now we don't have any questions yet through the panel, but we're happy to open up the audio lines if anyone has any questions.
Okay, so if you wish to ask a question, please key *1 on your telephone. If you decide to withdraw your question, simply key *2. Straightforward. And again, if you do wish to leave a web question, just type your question in the question and answer section and then click Send to all panelists. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone?
No audio questions at this time.
Elizabeth, come on, we sat on the panel together. I'm sure you must have a question.
Well, if there are no questions at this stage, this session has been recorded and will be shared and distributed to everybody that's attended. And there will be an opportunity for you to contact us and ask any future questions you may have using the details that have been provided. Thank you very much for your time and taking the effort to attend this webinar today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes your conference call for today. You may now disconnect, and thank you for joining.